Right. Welcome back to Two Nigerian Women. My name is Ibukun.
And my name is Abidemi. Welcome, everyone.
Yes, today we thought we're quite a young podcast. Let's talk about our unpopular opinions. Let's get it out there so you guys know what we're thinking. And as always, we are open to you commenting and telling us what you think about what we think. We
Yep.
would always state it's in our humble opinion because you are entitled to have your opinion. It's the issue is when it becomes that you must conform to my opinion. But yeah,
Mm,
so let
mm,
us talk through, Sissy. Which one should we
yes.
start with?
I think we should talk about the men versus women.
Okay,
Yes.
men versus
Uh,
women. Okay, go
yes.
on.
So there's been this whole thing in the media of we're not even talking about people changing or anything or transforming. That's not what we're talking about now. We're just
Mm,
talking about the fact that a lot of the times men and women are pitted against each other as equals.
mm,
Yes, we
mm,
are equals in the sight of God, but when it comes to physical strength, we actually are not equal. And it's something that we need to call out for what it is. Don't
mm,
make it seem like it's perfectly normal, even though the society is trying to normalize it. But there are a lot of things as women that we can't do because it's not in our DNA. We're not wired that way. We are not made that way. We're not formed that way. We cannot just do it.
mm-hmm,
I can't lift
mm-hmm,
the car, or my husband can lift the car if he tried. I won't
mm,
even bother trying. He's lifting weights of whatever kg there is available. I can't do
mm-hmm,
half of that. Even
mm-hmm,
if I train myself, there are some, and also you also even it's even right there in your face. You go to the gym and you have the weights that not for women necessarily, but you're told not to lift more than a certain because of your back, your lower back, because you have to use all your strength, your muscles, everything.
mm-hmm.
And so it is a thing that we are not equal in the sight of God, yes, but we are not equal. But I
Physically,
have my
yeah.
own story when it comes to equality as well, in terms
Well,
of
but let us clarify so the people out there that are waiting to hear can hear. She's talking about
yes,
physically. We're not equal.
yes,
Okay, go
yeah,
on, man. Okay.
we are not equal physically. Thank you for clarifying that.
Mm,
Um, I have my own theory on a lot of areas when it comes to men versus women that are very almost can be a bit controversial, but that's not what
mm,
we are here for right now. I think
mm,
we just need to be able to call out stuff for what it is and be
mhm,
truthful to ourselves that we are not the same physically, and we need to own that narrative and not see it as an insult to our
mm,
person, because that's not how women are made to be wallflowers, dainty, not
no.
dainty in the sense of presenting yourself, but it doesn't mean that you are weak, doesn't mean that you are weak, doesn't mean that you are what's that word? Doesn't mean you're weak, doesn't mean that you are
Inferior.
incomplete or
Inferior.
inconsequential or inferior thing. You are not.
Mm, mm,
You're equally as important, but we just need to set it straight because
mm.
the narrative is becoming downright. I don't want to use the word embarrassing, but to a certain extent it is, because you have people arguing almost like as if is this the same, or let's not do it that way, or let's not even call it as men and women. We're
So,
individuals.
common
We're
sense has left
individuals.
the
Like the
building on this topic.
erasing femininity, erasing it, and making a conscious effort to erase it. Now that is very, very uncomfortable.
It,
Too
it is.
uncomfortable,
It
if you ask.
is. And it's upsetting. By the way, for those who might be interested, I'm drinking Twinings Calm tea. I drink tea infusions because I've moved away from caffeine for a long period of time. But yeah, it's Twinings Calm tea. It's not sponsored. It's not promoted, but you never know. In the future it might be. But Twinings Calm tea. Anyway, this
In my tea, I'm not ashamed. I still drink my caffeine. I love tea, especially with evaporated milk. I love my tea. Not
that's
every day,
Nigerian
but I do
tea.
love it.
Tea, English breakfast, as we'll call it here, with carnation
Mm.
milk and some
Yes.
sugar. That's Nigerian tea all the way. Okay,
Yeah.
so with this topic, it is, to be honest with you, I think people now argue for argument's sake in general because the differences are obvious. And if looking at normal maths, if there's a difference, you are therefore not equal. There is something you need to
Mm,
add in order to make up the difference for you to then be equal. That's the math. That's the math
mm.
method,
Yeah,
if you will. So there
yes,
are some
yeah.
things that women can do, men can never do. Men can never give birth. Never. I don't care what you
Mm,
label you put on it. You can never give birth. Men can never menstruate. You just can't. Yeah.
mm,
Women, in terms of physical strength, you've mentioned, and are in a lot of instances not as strong as some men. In, if you will, if you want to put same height, same weight, and things
mm.
like that. In a lot of instances, not all instances, oh, for those of you looking for argument, hear me well. That is why they banned transgender women from female sports, because when
Female only sport.
compared, say again,
Mm.
what did
Female
you,
only sports.
female
Female
only
only
sport?
sport. Yeah.
Exactly. So when compared, well, say female only, but if it's women, swimming, can is a
No,
mixed
what I
sport.
mean is that it's not a mixed sport. It is female. So it's a female team doing female. There's
And
no,
then
you
there's a
can't.
male thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I,
Yeah, because we have
I
to
hear
qualify. For a lot
you.
of some sports, there's mixed.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have a male female team from a country competing against a male female team from another country,
As you
it's
wish.
not. Do you understand?
Carry on. And
Yes,
there's some
exactly.
mixed
So
doubles in
we
tennis.
emphasize. Yes, yeah.
Like mixed doubles in tennis, makes
Mm,
sense,
mm,
and things like that. But when you have a male swimmer, which was the popular controversy, who has decided to be transgender, swimming
mm.
against women, it was
Yeah.
wrong. The guy or the human was winning everything, and that was annoying, it was aggravating. So in terms of men versus women, genuinely, we are all children of God for those who believe in God, but you are different in terms of how He's created you for different things. You're built for different things.
Mhm.
I think where things started to get cloudy was about equality in the workplace. That's where I think things just started to go pear shaped in terms of
Fashion.
man and woman doing the same job being paid differently. Money is always the root of all these situations, if you think about it. And that
Yep.
started the gender pay gap, campaign and protest, which I'm totally in support of. If you're both on an intellectual level given the same job, you have the same experience, and a man is being paid more than a woman, it's wrong. And vice versa as well. Because in some situations, the man was being paid less than the woman. They'll say, in what
Mm.
world did that ever happen? It
Yeah.
wasn't that long ago. Go back a few decades. And this is where then race comes in. Some male doctors were being paid less because they were black. But
Always. Yeah.
different story for a different day. The unpopular opinion, we're saying men versus women, there's no versus. We are built for different things. And we are not equal in everything. Everything. That is, please, people hear us. There are some
Mm-hmm.
things where we are, as women, more superior than men.
Yep.
We're not giving
Yep.
back and doing
In
things
terms of multitasking, that one I'm gonna own it
that
because
Abby.
we have mistakes. Yes,
We have
please.
skills. We have skills, and we can run all of them at the same time.
My
Appreciate.
husband was saying, I don't know how you can watch TV. You're
Uh-huh.
washing, you're cooking, and you can't. I said,
Yes,
yes, everything we can walk and chew gum. You just have to know how you do it. Because as
Abby.
moms, you're not gonna have time for everything. So
You
you
can.
have to coordinate.
You
So I
do.
can be
You do.
washing, I can be cooking, I can be cleaning
Mm-hmm.
while even cooking and clearing up. Because there was this thing when I was growing up, it used to get on my last nerve. So we had maids that used to cook, and if they cook, they would take to come and clean up and stuff. But for me, I'm like, why am I giving myself work? As I'm cooking, I am cleaning. So by the time the food is ready, I'm not cleaning. I
You
can
sit
just
back.
relax and I'm ready to eat.
Simple. See, you find it so
But
interesting.
if my husband does the cooking, Jesus is Lord, save us. The sink will be
Yes.
full of so many. If I come in and I clean while he's doing it, then it makes it seem like I'm interfering, like I'm trying to tell him what to do.
What
I'm
to
trying
do?
to
Yeah,
underestimate him. That
defenses
please,
go
if you're
up.
going to tell me what to do, then you need to. Then I don't want to cook again. Please, please, I don't want. So I just have a
Oh
look at him. I
God.
said, "It's not better as you cook to tidy up. It's not you cook, come and sit down and be touching phone. No, you tidy up. So by the time the food is ready, because also he gets on his nerves when we're all supposed to sit down and have lunch or dinner, and I'm tidying up. I said, if you tidied up, I won't need to do it. So you need to do your own bit. So I don't need to get involved. But it
I
is a
agree.
thing. So
But you
yeah,
see,
multitasking. I feel different.
why are we fighting our differences as opposed to celebrating and appreciating and complimenting each other with it? Like, what is the
Mm.
problem? Eh? You are different. You are different. Like you said, he's cooking. You are helping him clean up. Why are you upset, Uncle? Why? Eh? Let us help you.
But also, what makes you different makes you beautiful. And I think we need to, I think somebody sang it, we
Mm,
need to embrace the differences with
mm,
gladness because we can't all be the same. We're all the
no,
same, please. We won't
no.
even
It's
get along
cold.
because like we're seeing ourselves in everyone. So you have to stand out. And we've all been given unique gifts, male, female. We've all been given gifts from God, and we need to use those gifts and use them wisely and be happy that we have that because what A doesn't have B does. Like there's some areas in my life that my husband compliments me. I don't have it. And there are areas in
Mm-hmm,
life that I compliment him. He doesn't have it. But it doesn't mean I want to say, oh, you're not like this. We can't all be the same. Although
mm-mm,
sometimes we actually get bogged down by everyday life and it does get on my last nerves. Like, why can't you
mm,
just do things like this? But
mm.
also, I also need to try. Now, this is me speaking to myself, preach, that I need to take a step back and allow him do
To
him
also
and
lead.
do me as well. Because, yeah, it is who he is what makes him him.
Exactly.
So I think, but I
Mm,
also feel that when it comes to marriage, I don't want to talk about partnership because I'm not in a partnership. Some people that are in partnerships can't say that. But I feel
mm,
that when it comes to marriage, a lot of us women, we have understood the assignment in the sense that we try to allow the men take their place as head of home, as provider, as protector, as
mhm,
preacher, as pastor, all of those things, we do try. We do try because we understand. Because also, when you get
mm,
into marriage, you have to let go of self. It's not about you, it's about you and that person together, working in unison. So I think
mm.
that to a certain extent, we get it, but not everyone does. But
No,
also, another thing was that you see a lot of people that actually are not getting it.
a lot, and they're suffering for it, see, because I don't know. I do know because you can easily track it back. So a few decades ago, when our mothers used to be stay at home, it was
Mm,
seen as them being less than. They were not
mm,
living their full potential. And we've
mm,
gone to the hyper alpha female, where they are the ones who literally drive the home, that the highest earners in the home. They are the ones who make the decisions because they're the ones who earn the most money and things like that. Sister, are you not tired? Are you not tired? You wake up at 6 a.m., you don't get home till 7 p.m., you still have children that you are missing out on their childhood, and they're only at home
mm.
till they are 16 or 7 or 18 sometimes, and they are gone forever.
Yeah,
You are
yeah.
tired, your gray hair, you are dyeing it every week in that salon because the stress has messed up your beauty. Eh?
I haven't started dyeing my hair, so I can't relate to that. Sorry.
You can't, and I will never dye my hair because, to be honest with you, I embrace my grays. But the point is, we have gone from not understanding it is okay to be taken
Mm,
care of. Not that you are lazy or you are a how best to say it, you are I'm trying to find the right word. So well, people who want to get offended will get offended. It's not that you are idle and you have no ambition or you are
mm,
unambitious in life. But the point is
mm,
there's seasons to everything. And if in the season you are in, you do not take full advantage of what you can in order to enjoy that season, it will pass. And then you find yourself in another season thinking, I didn't enjoy that at all. At all.
mm,
Because
mm,
back to, okay, so if you are a mother, and please hear me and consider this really carefully. If you're a mother and you're missing out on your child's childhood, it's going to impact not just you, but the child. And I'm not saying just sit at home, do nothing.
mm,
There are so many options available to us right now where you can work from home. You can build your own business. I know not everyone is meant to be a business person, but if you are, build your own business
Business owner, yeah, it's good for them.
or
Yeah.
do something that would just, bring in something if you feel like you need to earn, especially if the children are in school and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But don't then think, if I sit at home,
Mm-hmm.
I will be seen as unambitious or lazy and so on and so forth. No, own it with your full chest. You want to enjoy your child's childhood. Fine. Now, if you are like, please, these children are fine, they'll
No,
take
but
care of
also
themselves.
it's a decision between, yeah,
Mhm.
also it's a decision between the man and the woman that you, okay, I want you to look after the kids. So it's a mutual agreement,
You have to agree with your
and
spouse.
that cannot
To be fair.
be,
Yeah.
yeah. But I know someone that cannot work because she does not want to, like she and her husband run a business, a thriving
Hmm.
business, and she
Hmm.
doesn't work because she doesn't want to overtax. So they have to stay under the tax bracket. Because once they
Makes
go
sense.
over that tax bracket, then they start being taxed heavily.
Makes
So
sense.
that is another thing. So you
Hmm.
have people like that have that cannot afford to do that, and anything they need to don't have to fly under the radar, especially in this society that taxes are like the next thing after the air you breathe here.
Do well.
They're also the ones that have no choice but to work, and they can't work because after for lockdown, there was no hybrid working conditions were not popular. If
It was
anything,
not
they were seen
popular.
as you being unproductive.
Exactly. Exactly.
But
But now that
lockdown
they are,
has changed. When he even came to church, you had people that say, "Oh, if you don't come to church, you're not serving God." And
mm,
you know the irony is that a lot of the times I have arguments with my mom and trying to tell her that just because somebody doesn't go to church doesn't mean because you go, you're better than them. Like we need to address this because you
mhm,
have people that will judge you based on you're not going anywhere. So we're going, why didn't you go to church? They almost like oh, I have friends in Nigeria that I tell them, oh, my church has gone on break for the year. I said, how does church go on break? I said,
mm,
well, you people in Nigeria, the way people do church, not the way they don't do church like it's a do or die affair here. It's a work,
no.
it's a personal work we go. Do you
Abby,
understand? Even
that's so
the my
no.
school,
Not
I told them
community.
that nuns here can decide after 20 years they don't want to be nuns anymore, retire and get married. They say which kind of nun is that? They're not, they don't, they were not really interested. Excuse you? When did you become God's assistant? So when you have a
Mm,
lot of those things, they are very, very unpopular opinions, but there are things that we need to unpick and unpack.
we do.
Because
We
just
do.
because it's not reality, it's not
One
reality
of-
doesn't mean it's not reality. It is happening. It
It
is
is.
happening.
Sissy, saying that, let us unpack this one. Believe all women. What's your opinion?
No, not to a certain extent, because there are a lot of people that are actually wired to be spawns of the devil and be dubious and are out to destroy, steal, kill, and destroy. I saw
Take care of
a
it.
post a couple of years ago. I can't remember when. I don't even know if it's even recently, but I saw it. One girl
Mm,
that caught an STD and said because she caught it, she's sharing with everybody
mm.
because she got it from a
Because
man.
sharing is
And
caring, Abby.
exactly. So when you have this
Mm,
kind of things, am I going to like? We need to be
mm,
able to look at situations and be objective. Just because she's female doesn't mean I have to support you. There are a lot of things that there are a lot of things I'm not even support. Like, sister, you are wrong. I remember there was the whole thing that happened, the whole incident of abuse that happened in Nigeria a couple of years ago, and I was arguing with an elderly lady, and I had to
mm,
tell her, and I said, "See, you are a mother." And you are a grandmother and somebody's daughter, and you are
mm,
believing some guy that all because her own argument was like, why is this girl talking now? She's bringing disrepute to Christianity. I'm like, no, she's not bringing disrepute to anything. If anything, he brought disrepute to Christianity. Let's stop shaming victims. So you
mm,
have things like that. So to a certain extent, I won't support. I was supporting the victim, but I will not support an elderly woman because she feels that
that's
Christianity is being slighted. No, no, no. Let's call a spade a spade. But you have situations like that. So when you look at it, there are
mm,
things that we cannot afford to sit on the fence for. Because
no.
also, if you're on the family of the accused
Mm,
and you know the accused didn't do anything, will you be
mhm.
supporting them because she's female?
No, you
We need
wouldn't.
to be careful. We
You
need to be
do.
very, very careful. And a lot of people have been destroyed
Look.
because of accusations that didn't come out to be true. Today, I saw watched the video of a guy that had been sent to prison for 15
Mhm.
years 15 or 14 years since his daughter was 1,
Mm,
and he didn't do anything. So he was
mm,
sent to prison because, and then he went to surprise his daughter in school, and his daughter jumped at him, and it made me very emotional. How can you go to jail for a crime you didn't commit? There's also that. There's this also this other guy that went to prison for 40 years
mm,
because of someone that looked like him.
mm.
So
Was it a
when
woman
you
that
look at it,
put him in there? Was because the unpopular
sorry, let me
opinion?
say, you said, yeah, I know. I'm going off course, but I just feel that a lot of the times we also need to be objective and not just support nonsense because, or rather, because we feel like this is how my body's feeling at certain times. I need to do what
Mm,
I need to do.
mm. I
No.
totally agree with you. I think we're the same. We hold the same unpopular opinion on this. I'm not into believe all women because this is once again the gender agenda is what I call it. And
Mm,
the gender
mm,
agenda, because you're a woman, you must be believable. Every human has the ability to lie. And like you said, spawn of Satan.
every.
Unfortunately, there are some people that special place in hell reserved for them that they themselves booked into. And in that
They are
time,
the ones that are polishing the devil's tail every day.
no, with proper polish, premium polish,
Yes, and they're
premium
helping him to
polish.
polish you
I
guys'
agree.
assistant. Help those people.
See, the issue we have with that once again was based on the fact that yes, unfortunately, a lot of women were subject to horrible circumstances that they were not believed in, and as a
Mm.
result, we've gone from one extreme to the other. Now,
But,
ex
but
yeah,
also,
go
you
on.
also have a situation whereby even till now in Nigeria, women are still not believed. Even when a man has been
That
called
is
out a million
true.
and one times because they feel that the women asked for it.
But that's wrong in the context, exactly. That's wrong in the context of when it is rooted in cultural customs where it is a man is superior to a woman. One of the questions I do have for God is there such a thing as balance? Because in an attempt for the world population to find this balance, we tend to go from one swing to the other. We can't just seem
Mm.
to balance it. Those people in Nigeria are true victims, but in trying to protect them, you are now railroading other people into becoming victims as well because you are saying believe all women, but not all women
Mm.
are truthful. So it's an unpopular opinion, and we both agree. It's not about believing all women, it's believing whoever is telling the truth and making
Mm.
sure
Sometimes it's hard.
it is. But in fact, there was one article I was reading, and it was about a very popular celebrity who is being accused of sexual misconduct. And the one of the women who came forward to accuse them was saying she's
Mm.
upset that the burden of proof is on her. I'm like, hold on. You've accused someone of something. Why shouldn't you be able
You have
to
to prove
prove
it now.
that's it's what happened? If it's that the evidence has been lost or things like that, understandable. But
Mm.
if you accuse someone, you can't just accuse randomly. You need to provide the evidence. Why are you
Yeah.
upset? You make me
Mm.
even suspicious of you that you're upset. What's going on here? This world has, well, common sense has left the building, like we said. But yeah,
Mm.
Cecilia and I are of the same opinion. We don't believe all women. We believe whoever is telling the truth, whether you're a man or a
Mm.
woman, because we've seen
Mm-hmm.
too many lives destroyed because of believe all women. We are women
Mm.
ourselves. We know when someone is lying to us, and we
Yeah.
pray we're never in the position to accuse anyone falsely. But false
Yeah.
accusations do happen. And so, in
Happen.
that sense, we're not believing all women. Sorry, go and sit down somewhere. Okay, the last one we're going to talk about in this episode is pastoring a church. Is pastoring a church a family business?
I don't think it should be because sometimes
Interesting.
our children are not as passionate as we are. I have a thriving business with my husband and my son. Because when I said, "Oh, what do you want to be?" He said, "I said, oh, you and your sister can obviously take over the business." And he's almost like, "No, I don't want to do that." So it's not really. even if I groom them, they have to do what they need to do. So a lot of times I feel a lot of these children are roped in because it's seen as the popular thing. That doesn't mean it's the best thing. So I
Mm-hmm.
do not believe, agree, accept that a church should be a family business. Because sometimes you have people, pastors that or workers in the church that are more passionate about the
Mm-hmm.
ministry than even the owners' children. I
You
don't.
see, you use
It
the
just
word
rubs me up.
owners, but yeah, why did you say
Mm.
owners?
What?
Why did you say owners? You said more passionate about the owners. Owners in terms of church or owners in terms of business?
Owners in charge of church. Church is a business, basically, to a
Ah,
certain extent. I wouldn't
mm,
necessarily say here because
I
there's a lot
don't
of
agree.
order and there is a
Yeah.
lot of there's a lot of order, there's a lot of checks and balances. You can't get too big for your boots. Even if you undercut it, the government always try to find out. But in
Mm-hmm.
Africa, it's business. A lot of people get into it because of what they're going to get out of it.
Well, we
It's
can
not
talk about it
sometimes
in
it
that
starts
context, Sissy. Like
no, but sometimes it starts
things.
out
Mm-hmm.
mm,
I'm going to
sometimes
suggest.
doing it for people, for the
Mhm.
love of people and everything, and they get carried away and it comes to the love of money.
So, okay, so let us cut it into two streams because we have the ability to see the African church because we've been through it, as well as
Mm.
outside of the African church. Even though, to be honest with you, there's some replication in other cultures as well of what
Mm-hmm.
happens in
Mm-hmm.
the African church.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it in the context. Let's start off with the context of outside the African church and then talk about the African church as well.
Mm.
So, in terms of church being a business, um, that is what the world has made it, as opposed to what God intended for the church to be. The church was meant to fulfill his mission on earth, which is
Yeah.
evangelize, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
bring people into the kingdom. And it was never meant to be a business. But the human
Yeah.
element has since come in and has turned it into something it shouldn't. When Jesus himself turned up in a temple and saw them exchanging money, selling things, and so on and so forth, he beats them out of the temple. That's how
Mm.
disgusted he was with the
It
situation.
was. Yeah.
So
Yep.
exactly. So we do have examples of that. But the unpopular opinion we're discussing, so we are clear to the people listening out there, is pastoring a church a family inheritance? And Sissy, do you want to talk to that outside of Africa before we get into what happens in Africa? Because Nigeria specifically is a very interesting bag.
Outside of Africa, I don't think it's a business per se. Yes, you have a few Africans that bring the Africanness into outside of Africa, and then it becomes a thing. But a lot of the times, it's not. It is a mission to save, to care, to be a point of contact for the community, a place of
Mm-hmm,
refuge. In
mm-hmm,
fact, I find them giving more than even receiving.
mm,
Like the
mm,
church that I attend, we have tea and coffee that are and freshly baked stuff that is provided by well-meaning congregants that contributes to and they bake it for free.
mm,
So we have things that tea and coffee is available before service
mm-hmm,
for workers and after service.
mm,
And even for moms that are nursing babies, they have tea and coffee and breakfast on tap there. And that is it's not an African church per se, but they're
mm,
looking after people. Like I heard someone ask you, I don't know if it was you or your husband, church on
mm,
Sunday, oh, have tea and coffee. Say, are we paying for it? Is it free? I said, yes, it's
mm,
free. Because
mm.
you never see that in Nigeria. I'm
You
sorry.
don't
You
send
might see it
email.
sometimes. It's not distributed. Exactly.
No, we
But
queue
this
for
is available. Even
to
when it's
buy
hot.
meat pie. In
There's
Nigeria,
cold water.
we queue to buy meat pie.
There's cold water with lemon and lime and ice. Sometimes
Mm,
people bring bottles of water to give out. And
mm,
that's it. We're
mm,
having a picnic and they provide food and people bring what you can. But you will not go hungry because someone always have an extra plate for you or always have something for you.
mm,
Like we always go OTT, we always have food for everyone and some. And
mm,
people even still take home. So when it comes to churches here, it's very different. But
mm.
when it comes to church in Nigeria, it is a business. Let's
Well,
not
okay.
lie to ourselves.
So if we talk then about is it a family inheritance here? What's your
Mm.
opinion? As an outside Nigeria, yeah.
To a certain extent, maybe. But why I say maybe is because the ones that have African backgrounds bring that thing here and
They
continue.
bring it
It is a business.
Mm,
But for the ones that are not, that are based, you might find that some are still continuing, but it's not a very popular thing among them because it's not, they're not bringing, because also a lot of pastors that
mm,
run churches, only very few of them actually work outside like it was a church I used to go to, I went to for about 10 odd years. The pastor had his own business.
mm,
So
mhm,
leading people was on the side. But some of them
mm.
don't want to work. They're not doing anything. So I think it varies from individual to individual, but it's very
Individual.
unpopular to pass it on.
Mm,
It is not a thing because there are loopholes. There
yeah.
are board of directors. There are trustees.
Yes.
There's the charity commission. There is
This
the
is heavily
government.
governed in this
It
country.
is, yes.
Mm,
So there is a process. You can't
mm,
jump from number 10 to number 1. It's not possible.
mm,
But in
mm,
Nigeria, forget, they cannot jump from number minus the hundreds to number 1
mm.
because there's nobody will call them to order because everybody is pandering to the man of God's needs. So even when
Mm-mm.
the man of God is stepping out of line, they are clapping for him and cheering him on. Even when he's saying rubbish, because a lot of
Oh, yeah.
times, a lot of them say rubbish, they are clapping for them.
Yeah.
Why?
Because at that point, it's not a church; it's a social
There
club.
was some entertainment guys like that.
Mm,
A pastor told them that their mother was against their misfortune. You know, the mother had them. I think they were triplets, identical triplets. The mother had them.
wow. Mm.
They never related with their mother till she died. She died in abject poverty because the pastor told them that she
No.
was the source of their problem.
Wow.
Kind of thing. Like, I know, fine, we have a welfare system, so she will not be left to the Lord. She'll be looked after here and stuff like that. But, even when it sounds so wrong, so
Okay.
wrong.
So, with regards to the opinion, my humble opinion, reading the Bible,
I
a
know your
whole
own opinion went that way. Mhm.
it went that like listen now.
Okay,
So
okay, then.
Levites, the Levites were a whole tribe. Yeah, obviously brothers, fathers, and sons, cousins, uncles. The Levites were committed to serving the temple, and not
Mm-hmm.
that it was.
We're not Levites in Nigeria. Don't give us name that's not our own, no.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not talking about Nigeria yet. I'm talking about
I better not be you. If it's down, all of us are Levites.
Africa. Yeah,
Descendant of David. David was redhead and ruddy.
we
I'm a
know. Uncle was ready to serve God.
thank
Wait now.
you.
So let me
And
let me
I did hear that anybody that was redhead, they have one common ancestor
really.
in the world. I said,
Ah,
David,
no,
father.
no, no. It must go back to the sons of Noah as well, I think. In
I
that,
just remember I cannot remember that one. I remember David.
we'll
That's the
look
one
at
that I
it. My friend
yeah.
is the historian. She will look at it. Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
my point is the Levites were a whole tribe dedicated to serving God. So at some point there was a pass down from father to sons in certain, temples and things like that because Eli,
Were
um,
they marrying? Okay, yes, they were marrying, having children, but
ex-
that was their tribe, their role as a
exactly.
tribe. Yeah.
Exactly. So Eli's sons were supposed to take over from him, which is why when Sam, who was it? I think it might not have been Sam. It was a prophet that came and was admonishing Eli because his sons were charlatans. Pretty much, they were stealing
Mm.
the offerings and demanding the best part of the
The car,
offerings and
of the house. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this has been happening from time, OCC. This is nothing new. But the point was, if you looked at the principle back then, it was handed over generation to generation because we're being very specific. It's pastoring a church, a family inheritance kind of thing. For the Levites, it essentially was because it was passed down from generation to generation.
But we're
Now,
Nigerian, we're not living.
we are not. We are Gentiles. If we go back to the biblical definition, we're not Jewish now. We're Gentiles. Yeah, but
Why are
there's
we
the
Gentiles?
tribe of Nigeria.
Why are we
Eh?
Gentiles? Why are we Gentiles? Why are we Gentiles?
Because
How?
you're not Jewish. If you're not Jewish, you're a Gentile.
But we descended from Adam and Eve.
But the Jews are very specific. So we should talk about this. Wait,
So
what? First of
who
all,
was the Jew's
let's make
wife
it
and her
clear.
mother?
Miobo. Sorry, why didn't hear? What did you say?
Who gave birth to the Jews? There is no Adam and Eve. We're not Gentile, we're Jews. All of us are Jews together, please.
Okay, now. So it's
Mm.
very interesting because there's actually a tribe in Nigeria who practice Judaism, and we'll talk about that in
It's not
another
even a
video.
tribe. There are actually a lot of individuals. I have a friend right now.
Mm.
I don't really like him so much. He's not my friend.
We have a
He
friend. It's not
says
my
he practices Judaism, so
fine,
he
but
has this
genuinely,
whatever.
there's a history there. There's a history there, and we'll break it down for you in an episode. But the point is, what happened when Jesus came and Christianity was then introduced to the world, because Christianity is following Jesus Christ
Mm,
specifically. When he came, the Gentiles, as they were termed in the Bible, were then growing congregations. And as a
mm,
result of growing the congregation, certain things were going on and things like that. At that point, there was no succession, if you will. It was whoever was qualified and approved and anointed by God that then took
mm,
over the church. Let us segue now into the Nigerian church. There is this pastor who I admired his ministry and everything, and he passed in his early mid 60s. I would say, I believe it was mid 60s. Now his son, who was a youth pastor in the church, has now been made the main pastor in the church. Nigerians are up in arms about it, and this is what leads to the question: is pastoring a church a family inheritance? And the answer should be no. So, see, I actually agree with you. It shouldn't be a family inheritance. It is whoever God has called, anointed, and prepared for the
mm,
role. That is my opinion,
mm.
my humble opinion. Go on,
I
Sissy.
actually didn't know people were up in arms about it because I haven't really followed anything.
So, see, there would always be someone who
It's,
is discontent.
it's Facebook, Abby. It's Facebook.
No, Instagram.
Ah, I haven't seen no. Maybe I've just been
Instagram.
out of it. I haven't seen nothing.
Yeah. So
Wow.
they're not happy
Wow.
because they're like, where did it come from? And they don't even bother to even just do a simple Google. The guy was the youth pastor
Mm,
for years, and now he has come into well, the board. They say the board appoint them, were the ones who brought him on and things like that. So it's not that he
yeah.
fought his way to the top. He was appointed, he agreed, he accepted. And I don't know why people are chasing pastor. This is not an easy job, and it comes with so many severe spiritual consequences. Because if you mess up God's children, it won't be good for you on Judgment Day. Oh. It won't. So
Mm,
I don't know why people are fighting over you must pastor a church. It's a business. We must make this money from church. Are you serious? By the time you are dealt with and your generations,
mm.
unfortunately, might inherit some of the things you have done, it wouldn't be good for you. So I don't know why you're fighting. Go and mind your business and serve God for yourself if you can. This is not something to fight over. It's not. Anyways, that's my humble opinion. Over to you, Sissy.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know anybody was up in arms about it. I just have my own personal preference and my own thingy. And
Mm,
if anything, knowing how judgmental Nigerians can be,
mm,
a lot of them are probably focusing on the physical, how it looks, and all of that. But see, being here has also shown me that you can serve God, and it's
mhm,
not like it's not your picture of what it should be.
mm.
We are moving from an era where wearing earrings was a sin to an
Yeah.
era that is there's nothing wrong with it. It was just people using an opportunity to control. We're
Mm,
moving from an era where people thought watching the TV using anything was a
mm,
sin. And now they're even using flat screen TV, getting on planes, going abroad, applying for visa. There are a lot of people that did not believe in saving their money in the bank. Now they're
mm,
using bank. There are people that do not believe in using tab. Now they are using smartphone. So
mhm,
when you look, I'm not saying that Christianity is evolving, but lots of people have abused the fact that they are in the place of leadership to control a select few. And because they've not been called out on it,
mhm,
then they have got away with it. So to a certain extent, your idea of what a pastor should look like is not what God's idea is. You are not God's sunglasses. Not that you got
Nope.
medicated or what they call it, prescription
Mm,
glasses. He knows who he's dealing with. I am just not in support of handing over when I just don't feel that somebody is ready. Because
I
this is a
agree.
child who had his own dreams and aspirations, was following through with his own things. And
Mm.
then he's now been given the responsibility of taking charge.
See,
There were other people that were actually on that walk and are probably more in the know of a lot of things. So for me, that is just uncomfortable. But I haven't actually followed anything online because number
mm-hmm.
one, people always have opinions, just
Of
like
course.
people have
Oh, just
they
like
have
us.
opinions.
Just like us.
Mm.
We have our opinions, and that's what
Yeah,
we've shared
yeah,
with the world
yeah.
today. Thank you for
Mm.
listening. We ask you to
Thank
please share, like, and subscribe on any of the platforms you're listening to or watching us on. It helps us
you.
continue the work we are doing. We are
Doing,
grateful
yeah.
to have your listening ear, and we're happy for you to disagree with us in the comments.
Yes.
So please leave a comment, share, and subscribe, and we will get to you on the next episode. Say bye, Sissy.
Bye. Thanks for coming in and see you on our next episode.
Yeah, God bless you all. Bye.
Bye.